To be honest, there is nothing written about this game in the journal, but there is a little bit for a game called Dragon Power? Dragon Power is really hard and the bosses are too strong. I can get far, but I don't think I can beat this. I don't really want it. Well, before the intense love for anime began in America around the late 90s, there were a lot of games based on anime that America didn't get a release for or were totally destroyed by localization. One such game, the topic of this installment, is Dragon Ball. Now the most beloved anime worldwide, but in 1986 no one outside of Japan had even heard of it. It was in 1986 that the Famicom was given a Dragon Ball game. The first Dragon Ball game. Very early in the Famicom's lifespan, with programmers still experimenting with gameplay styles, and with no definitive standards yet set, they landed on the idea of a way more linear Zelda-style game. Your attack is a simple punch, and you have a huge map to get through. Notice I didn't say explore. There is no exploration. Goku follows a simple yet treacherous path full of enemies, with a long reach and way more health than you would expect. This isn't Elden Ring or anything, but it's hard for what it is. Maybe even a little unfair. Knowing about Dragon Ball now, I wanted to go back and see what the early games were like. The first one I ever played was the early 90s Super Butoden, and at the time I was blown away because it was amazing. But that's a different story for a later installment. Sitting down and trying to play through a chunk of Dragon Ball for the Famicom was at first a chore, then it became a bit of an obsession. I got all the footage I needed, then I continued to play. There is something about knowing the story and wanting to see it get played out, even though it's a janky 8-bit world. It was oddly enjoyable. If you're a Dragon Ball fan like myself, and you're interested in the gaming history of the series, this is the game for you. Would I recommend Dragon Ball for the Famicom today? Yes, if you are a fan of the series.